As I speak to you tonight, our hospitals are under more pressure from COVID than at any time since the start of the pandemic. In England alone, the number of COVID patients in hospitals has increased by nearly a third in the last week to almost 27,000. And that number is 40% higher than the first peak in April.
Hi, this is Gage. Welcome to my journalist podcast. I'm from Saint Tomé and Príncipe, the second smallest country in Central Africa. I live in Cambridge and I currently studying third year of media studies at Anglia Ruskin University. The world is facing now the most challenging time of 21st century. Coronavirus pandemic changed the way we used to live and interact with each other. For many children, remote learning during lockdown have been a huge challenge for them and for their parents. This journalist podcast will explore how children in particular have been experiencing online learning during the lockdown. On 5 of January 2021, Boris Johnson released new rules for the beginning of the third lockdown.
In England, we must therefore go into a national lockdown which is tough enough to contain this variant. That means the government is once again instructing you to stay at home. You may only leave home for limited reasons permitted in law, such as to shop for essentials, to work if you absolutely cannot work from home, to exercise, to seek medical assistance, such as getting a COVID test, or to escape domestic abuse.
Today, I'm going to discuss how children experience home learning during third lockdown in the UK. On 20 March 2020, UK school closed their gates to all but the children of essential workers and those deemed the most vulnerable remains. School closures have presented a huge challenge to both children and their parents. There are also a big concerns of policymakers for many reasons, not least because months out of school risk setting back children's learning and development. This is particularly concerns for children from disadvantaged backgrounds who already achieve less well on average than their better off classmates. The transition to home learning will be a disruption for virtually every child in England. However, the extent to which it is a harmful one will depend on how home learning is implemented in each school and each family. According to IFS Institute for Physical Studies reports on how children are spending their time during the lockdown, with a focus on home learning activities and the home learning resource available in different families. This evidence is based on a new survey specially designed by researchers at IFS and the Institute of Education. The survey was completed online by over 4,000 parents of children aged 4 to 15 between Wednesday 29 April and Tuesday 12 May 2020. The IFS reports also showing that primary and secondary students are each spending about 5 hours a day on average on home learning. However, secondary school children are more likely to have online class and do spend their leisure time online. Income parents are much more likely than the less well-off to report that their children's schools provide online class and access to online video conference with the teachers. 64% of secondary pupils in state schools from the richest households have been offered active help from schools, such as online teaching, compared with 47% from the poorest 50 of families. 82% of secondary school pupils attending private school are offered active help, with 79 being provided with online classes. Hi, Helene. Welcome to my journalist podcast. and thank you for sharing your experience with me.
Hi, thank you for inviting me here for your interview. I'm really happy to be here.
Okay, you're welcome. How are you dealing with the homeschooling?
I'm dealing with homeschool is not that good because I don't learn. It's like I don't learn that much like I learned from school because my teacher, she does not say the things clearer like she says it in school. I don't know why, but maybe because, and sometimes we have disconnections, that's why.
So what do you miss from your physical school?
From my physical school, I miss my friends,
Okay.
my teacher, and my other friends from different classes because I don't get to see them as much as I get to see them in school. Yeah.
So do you prefer online classes or learning at school?
Online class is okay, but I prefer learning at school because then I don't have to connect with the computer and I don't have any disconnections. So I prefer school, going to school.
Is there much or less distraction while you have an online class at home?
Yes, because my sibling, she watches the TV really loud and I can't hear anything that my teacher's saying. And also when my mom's cleaning using the Hoover, I can't hear anything because they're using the Hoover or my mom's sweeping. Yeah.
What message would you like to send to Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, about remote classes?
I would like to send to Boris Johnson. I prefer on school than online school because online school sometimes I have disconnections like I said, or my internet's going bad, and if you have siblings or brother, sister, any sibling, if they make noise you can't hear anything. You can't hear, sometimes you can hear but you can't hear perfectly. So yeah, I just all I wanted to say to Boris Johnson.
And you, Aliyah, what you think about home learning?
I don't really know if I want to do homeschooling because sometimes my teacher can disconnect and sometimes I can't really hear the work and I can maybe not hear my teacher that good because it's online.
Hello. Home learning was sometimes quite challenging for different reasons. One of the reasons is that, for example, I'm working from home myself, and my daughter was having classes online, and we have the stronger connection in the living room. So both of us, needed to be there whenever we have to have meetings or classes. With that, so obviously we'll clash. One of us will have to be quiet while the other one is having class or having meeting, and sometimes was not possible, and one had to go to a different room, and the connection is not so strong.
All schools in college closed to most pupils and students to remote learning since Tuesday, 5 of January 2021. The full impact of school closures is yet to be understood, but there are already worrying signs that primary school children may be suffering more than older children in terms of emotional and physical well-being. The learning lost, defends Lee Leot Major, professor of social mobility at the University of Exeter. His research shows primary pupils suffered greater learning loss than secondary pupils in the first lockdown, suggesting that it may have been harder to young children to learn remotely.